Parashat Vajigash elav Yehuda, Yosef is going to throw Binyamin into prison accused for theft of the silver goblet of Pharaoh. And here comes Yehuda representing the brothers, especially Binyamin, in front of Yosef, whom he doesn't know as Yosef. He knows him as only the second to Pharaoh. And this conversation, whereas it seemed that Yosef is almost abusively stretching Yehuda's nerves, not telling him who he is, and as if going to throw Benjamin into prison, into jail. What is he trying to achieve? Now, I think we do not have to understand, this is the second time that the brothers, Yehuda as their leader, are standing in a situation that they are seeing in the distress of one of their siblings, second time that it is the youngest. And what are they going to do? First time, of course, was Yosef himself when he was a young lad and he was thrown into the pit by his siblings, thereafter being sold to the Ishmaelites. Then the reaction was nothing. They did nothing and only had bad feelings. Yehuda definitely had bad feelings, especially not for the deed, but what is going to happen with their father being so heavily distressed and grieving for his lost beloved son. But now, as Yosef stretching the nerves of Yehuda, something else happens. For the first time, we see Yehuda bearing responsibility for Binyamin, his younger brother, and he's saying, although he did not do anything wrong, he's saying, no, Mr. Ruler, do not take Binyamin, my brother, to jail, take me instead. He is bearing responsibility over the situation, not the same way that he did not do for Yosef 17 years or 20 years earlier. We have these situations in every field of life almost of guilt, of bad feelings for doing something or something happening in the wrong way. For example, very common example, parents, when they see their child misbehaving and they losing it. Happens to me very often, unfortunately. Shouting at the child, accusing of things, losing it. Is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is guilt in general a good thing or a bad thing? And I think there's a decision or how to define if it's a good thing or a bad thing. This guilt thing is, what does it lead to? What are the consequences or the result out of this guilt? We see in the Parasha that Yosef is trying to enhance this feelings of guilt, and he succeeds to the extent that the guilt brings Yehuda to admit his role, to bear responsibility over the situation, and thereafter he's doing the right act, what is expected from him, not like what was before. Now, guilt has a very negative component into it. In most cases, guilt is a negative thing. Why is that? It brings us not to responsibility, but the very opposite. In a way, it cleans us from responsibility of what we did. I did something bad, something abusive, or shouted at the child unnecessarily and did not help at all in his education. I feel bad about it. This feeling of these bad feelings of guilt cleanse my conscience, and I continue on without doing anything positive about it. Now, if I would have been able to think positively of myself, I lost it because I want my child to be better, because I want to educate my child. So I'm looking at myself in a positive way. Because of that, I can plan for the future. Next time that this situation happens, what am I going to do? How am I going to treat the situation? This will bring me in a positive way, this guilt toward responsibility. But if I have just guilt in the sense that it cleans my conscience in a way, so I am fooling myself as if I am taking responsibility, but actually I'm just doing nothing with it, I will again to repeat the non-okay behavior of myself. Now look at this. At the end of the parasha, after Yaakov, the father of all the siblings, dies, Yosef is telling his brother, and they're going to, when they go to bring their father from Canaan, from Israel, to Egypt, because there's a drought in the country, and only Yosef has food in Egypt, Yosef is telling these brothers, Achai, alan tareu, do not be afraid, do not have bad feelings of guilt. Atem chashavtem ota lera'a. You had bad ideas of what to do with me years earlier when you threw me to the pit. Ve'elohim chashava letova. But God had a good thought about this. He wanted me to be here to prepare for your coming to Egypt, and that you will have the food, the means to provide for Egypt, Canaan, all the Middle East, especially my family, you. He sees everything in a positive way, and telling them, do not bear these negative guilt feelings. What the guilt was supposed to, you already accomplished. It was supposed to have guilt in order for you to be